Thanks for sticking around for the lightning talks. Good for the short attention spans. So welcome. So as Brett said, in 2015, I started a new job, my first Scrum Master role. And I found that my team was going to be based mostly in India. Now, if there was one thing I knew about Scrum, it was that it was critical that you co-located to collaborate. So team in India, DevOps in Sri Lanka, and a few of us in the UK. When I tell people this, they usually say, that sounds challenging, and they're not wrong. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I've tried to respond to this challenge and share a few tips and maybe a few things that you probably shouldn't try. It's kind of a two-part problem. There's the physical distance. It's 5,000 miles between Oxford and Chennai, 5.5 hours time difference in the winter, and this makes it difficult. How are you going to do your daily stand-ups? How are you going to run a retrospective, sprint planning, all of that stuff? Just physically, how do you do it? And secondly, emotional distance. You need to get to know and trust this team, and they need to trust you. So that's something to work on as well. So just to dive straight in with some tools for closing the emotional distance. These aren't rocket science. They're simple tools. They're small things so that anyone can try. But just because they're simple doesn't mean they're not good. Starting small talk. I try to encourage a lot of chit-chat. I facilitate and instigate that. It's my role as Scrum Master. I don't need to be cracking the whip to kind of churn out the story points. So we talk about food and journeys to work. We talk about the weather a lot. I will say that you might not want to get involved in a sort of one-upmanship if you're talking to a team in India about the weather. I might say, oh, it's a miserable day in Oxford today, and they might give me a rainy day in Chennai, which, to be fair, this was during a cyclone in December, but it was food for thought, really eye-opening. They posted the video to HipChat, and our eyes just popped. The next thing that you might want to consider is fostering cultural curiosity. If your team lives in a different country, find out, how do they celebrate things? What festivals and traditions? What food do they eat with different days of the year? It's really fascinating. You might learn a lot. And, of course, be prepared to share your own traditions and festivals as well. I've tried to learn a few words in Tamil, which is the language most of my team speak. I'm not proficient enough to have sprint planning in Tamil, but I've tried to learn a few words. And as a second language speaker myself, I know it can be really heartwarming when someone at least tries, just more for amusement value sometimes, but that's all good. I've tried to do a sort of Hindu legend-themed retro with some help from someone in the team. If you do something like that, get help. It's quite advanced. I don't know if you saw the Katy Perry thing this morning with her Instagram, where she kind of was taken down a bit for apparently appropriating a bit of someone else's culture. You want to just be sensitive about those things. Get help from someone in the team if you're doing something like that. And then if you have read any checklists at all about bonding with remote teams, someone will have said, send them pizza. That is the thing to do. So I did check with the team what sort of food treat they'd like, and pizza was a winner, so I tried that. I'll be honest, sending pizza to India was harder than you might think. I had to order it online. I had to get up even earlier than usual to make sure it gets there, because I could only order it on the day. I ended up having to log into one of their social media accounts to order it. That sounds terrible, but that's what I had to do. My bank card got rejected, 2 different cards, and I was chatting with my bank going, I'm trying to buy stuff in India, please, can you not block me? I did manage it eventually. I think they did enjoy it. I made an egregious mistake, which was to forget to, at the same time, send something to the chap in Sri Lanka, and I didn't do anything for the people in the UK. So I always have this slight feeling of regret, but it's trial and error. Sending great gifts might be your superpower. It's not mine. I'm not even good with my family and friends, but it might be something you're awesome at, in which case, use that a lot. You might have picked up, I like an emoticon or two, so I've called them devices for self-expression. These smiley faces and frowny faces, when your own face isn't there to add your expression of emotion, these guys are really useful. Use them liberally, don't stint. And GIFs can be good as well for expressing more complex emotions. They take a bit longer to find, and they are less universal and less kind of clear and explicit than the emoticons. So you might want to use them a bit more sparingly, but scatter the emoticons, just everywhere. You can't go wrong. The next thing, I don't even have to say that to this audience, especially after Sam's wonderful talk. This is basically, insert Sam's talk here. Respect and empathy should be baked into everything you do, and it's super important with a remote team. So think about that time difference. Don't be pinging them out of their office hours. Just not respectful. Try not to do that. I usually have the time in Chennai up so that I can be mindful of that. Something else you need is a passport and some travel budget, and you should then use that to go and see the team, not a holiday or something. And the product owner and I went to Chennai in September. It was eye-opening. It was such a revelation. It was great to see the city they all live and to get a feel for their daily lives and maybe their daily challenges as well. I got to see the Cognizant offices. Cognizant is our technology partner out there that employs my team. These offices are huge. So I used to have 5-minute breaks during longer calls. Now I never have a 5-minute break because you need to get from one end of the office to the other. So now it's got to be a 10-minute break at the least. The canteen, huge canteen over 3 floors. So now I try to make sure that I schedule the stand-up not for the best time that they can actually manage to get some of the delicious food. It's just something that I had to sort of see it firsthand. And of course, I got to meet these awesome people and get to know them. It was just really lovely to meet them, and they were so welcoming. I went home with so many gifts. They are so much better at choosing gifts than I am. And meeting them just really immeasurably helped with building rapport. So that's something that if you take one thing away, I really recommend that. So those are some of the tools for closing that emotional distance. The physical distance is easier and harder in a way. I was very lucky at Pearson. We were very well set up to work virtually anyway, so I could really hit the ground running with this one. For your Scrum ceremonies, you need video calling. Don't try and do these things by phone, I would say. Just get some sort of video calling going. We use Google Hangouts at Pearson. Everyone joins the Hangout. You can use a kind of USB speaker or something so that everyone can sit in the same room. For longer calls, maybe something a bit more robust like Polycom or something, you basically need screen sharing, really good audio, and webcams, faces. You need to see people's faces. Don't settle for using the phone. You need some sort of chat room. We have HipChat at Pearson. You can use that for your planning, release planning, and so on, technical discussions, and the all-important chit-chat, which is where you get to know your team. I think Slack would work beautifully for that as well. And you need some virtual boards. So Jira, of course, for issue tracking or one of those. I really love using Trello for retrospectives. It's really lightweight, kind of simple, easy to use. You can bring the emoticons and the stickers and things, images, to help express those emotions at a distance. So I've tried Concept Board and Ideas Board, but Trello is just really my favorite for this. You need a few other real-time collaboration tools. Pointingpoker.com works really well for estimation. You can see, of course, the team always agrees 100%. I've picked a sample at random from one of our estimations. And then you have Google Docs and Sheets and Calendar at Pearson. We use a lot of Google stuff, and I'm a big fan now. If someone sends me an attached spreadsheet, I give that look of that dog in the other talk. So we use Confluence for our documentation, which we try to keep light, obviously. So those are just a few of the tools for closing the physical distance and making it, the point is to make it feel as if you're all in the same room. And yeah, you have to keep trying to improve those practical physical tools as well. A few do's and don'ts. You don't want to use these tools to check up on people. It's not about knowing what the team's doing. It's about collaboration. Trust the team. Don't settle for using email. Email really invites command and control. So you want to be using your collaborative chat and so on. Maximize the synchronous time you're together and appreciate the time that you're not in the office together and embrace that as a time for people to focus and get in the zone. Don't be sending emails out of hours. Cultural stereotypes, just don't let other people tell you how your team should behave based on their culture. Get to know them as individuals and let them get to know you as an individual. You're not a cultural stereotype either. A few do's, find your own style. Remember you're a servant leader, no command and control. You are there to help your team thrive. Put in the effort from your side to help them thrive. Keep trying new things, fail and learn, and watch them thrive. So I hope if you ever have to work with a remote team that you feel a little bit more inspired now and you have some ideas of how to tackle those challenges. Thank you very much.